What's happening, fellas, and a couple of you ladies out there as well. We are here to talk baseball DFS for August 12th, the night slate. Only 2 games during the day, so we don't cover the 2-game slates. I'm sure we might play it, but we're not going to cover it.
No, these 2 gamers, especially because we got multiple sports going on, just a little bit too much. What are you about to say?
Nobody believes you.
No, I was talking about covering it. As far as playing it, yeah, we'll probably throw a lineup in. I might throw 1 or 2 in. But really, this main slate, and it's funny because we've been talking NBA for much of the morning, and obviously, this baseball slate, it's weird. In some ways, it's like more predictable, which is crazy for baseball. But in other ways, like the pitching on this slate makes it almost go hand in hand with the NBA slate.
It's going to be a wild day, ladies and gentlemen. So if you're looking for a little bit more predictability, you can try your hand over at Overlay Fantasy Sports. The website is at overlaydfs.com. The link to their Twitter profile is below. Never forget about the Slump Toaster Challenge, boys and girls. If you're looking for a place that will put their money where their mouth is, if you play in the same contest 20 times, and this can be over 10 days, 30 days, 40 days, doesn't really matter, and you don't finish in the top 10% once, they will refund the entirety of your buy-ins. Good luck finding that anywhere else. The jackpot for the NBA will be back in the playoffs, and that will be about $20,000, which I know I would feel really good about winning.
Yeah, same. And I'm anxiously looking forward for the playoffs to start, for the playoffs and for that.
Got it. All right, let's hit back on baseball now. And let's talk about the slate, guys. If you want a membership, both sports are covered under day passes, monthly, annual, lifetime. It is all up there. Working getting the football package up on the website for those of you just interested in the NFL season. Day pass is $5, gets you both sport write-up and videos for the day. All that can be done through the link to the website below. Subscribe to the station if you're new to it. Hit that thumbs up button if you don't mind. And let's talk about pitching today. So Zach Eflin, not Zach Efron, is going to toe the rubber for the Phillies today at 6,400. Second start of the year. Don't expect him to go 110 pitches or anything like that, but 85-90 seems fairly reasonable. Looked good his first outing. Didn't give up or earn runs. Struck out 5. I think we're both under the impression, though, this guy's not a must today. He's not a guy you're scared about really breaking the slate, but he's dirt cheap. And while we know, I think, a little bit more about Baltimore than some people and that they're not as bad as people think, they're not a team you're scared to throw starting pitchers against. Baltimore's terrible because of their pitching, not just because their offense is weak, but they're not a scary team. He's going to be popular. I'm sure for you, knowing that he's popular makes you want to go in the other direction, but for cash games, this makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, it makes too much sense. So, no, the Baltimore offense is not an offense you're scared of. But they're also not an offense that I think you need to, run and just use whatever cheap starting pitcher is facing them, which people will do today to Eflin. Now, he is too cheap. He makes all the sense in the world in cash games. Pitching is awful today, so he also makes sense in tournaments because no matter where you go, it's going to carry some risk. I do have some interest in some Baltimore bats, though. We'll get to one because Eflin is just not a guy that should ever be supreme chalk, in my opinion. Baltimore is not awful. And, for the tournament side of me, definitely wants to get away from him here. Now, on the other hand, though, I don't think you need that much from your pitching tonight. So if he gets you, 14 points, I think that's fine.
If you told me he was good for 14 points today, I'd play him in all my lineups because I don't think – I bet somebody does score more than 20, but there's nobody on this slate that I would predict for more than 20. For
sure. I guess the worry with Eflin, though, get hit before. He's not, the safest guy in the world. You know what I mean?
No, if on a scale of 1 to 10, if your average pitcher's a 5, he's a 6, which means that he can definitely be hit.
Exactly.
All right, next up. So speaking of the Phillies, it's not common that I look at spending any money on what I feel to be one of the more overrated athletes in sports, which is Bryce Harper. But I got to give the guy some credit for a couple of things. One, he's having a really nice start to the season. Look no further than 1155 OPS. Now, it's a small sample size, but he's been playing very well. He's gone yard 4 times. He's batting .324, averaging 11.4 DK points per game. I don't expect him to be overwhelmingly popular today because he gets a lefty-on-lefty matchup. And the one thing I've said on Bryce Harper is, negative as I have been about him, I am the diabolical Skip Bayless hater of Bryce Harper. When he's locked in, that's when he deserves to be in the conversation with the Bellingers, Yelich's, Trouts, Lindors of the world. When he is locked in, and he appears to be locked in like that right now. He's 4 for 7 over the past 2 games, 2 bombs. He's walked. I think he gives you a nice floor today because they could choose to pitch around him. He's not terrible against left-handed pitching, and he's not up against a very hard guy today. I don't know what his ownership will be today, but I don't expect him to be overwhelming chalk.
I agree. The only reason his ownership will be high, one, it's Wade LeBlanc on the hill, but more than a lefty on lefty normally is because I think Philly gets a lot of love here. They're cheap, aside from him. They're in a good spot against LeBlanc. Weather is really hot there, and they're, like I said, really cheap. So Harper will get love because people are looking at Philly, but that might potentially take away his love also if they're using other Philly cheap bats. Who knows?
Yeah, so again, I'm not usually a Bryce Harper guy, but when he locks in and gets laser focused like this, that's when he's really good.
Yeah, for me, as far as popularity, it doesn't matter. If you like him, play him in cash games. You don't have to play him in cash games because you only have 3 outfielders. If you like him, play him in tournaments. You don't have to fade him in tournaments. You don't have to play him anywhere. You don't have to fade him anywhere. Do you agree?
Sure, absolutely. All right, next up. So you touched on what you refer to as a leverage stack, and that is picking guys against a popular pitcher because they're going to be low owned because a lot of people have that pitcher and don't want to use the cross side of it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if Baltimore goes off on Eflin here, you're taking out everyone who has Eflin, and then also the Baltimore stack could go off. They scored a ton of runs last night. They're not the most optimal stack on the board, but in tournaments, how often does the most optimal stack on the board win? Rarely. It happens, but rarely. So I like Smith here. I'm a Dwight Smith fan. He's very affordable at 3,800. He's got big power from the left side. People won't go here. Double digits in 3 or 4. Man, I'm getting hyped on it talking about him. I like him quite a bit here. I don't need to stack Baltimore either. I could get a piece or two and be fine with it.
Yeah, you can always do mini stacks or a 2-man stack with him and somebody next to him, something like that. I remember watching his daddy as a rookie when he was coming up with Jerome Walton of the Chicago Cubs.
Man, that's even a couple years before me.
Yeah, I was a Cubs fan back in the day because you want to know what? When I was a kid, and for y'all younger guys, you probably don't know this, but when I was a kid, there was no MLB package. You could watch the Braves and the Cubs because they were on WGN and TBS, and that was pretty much it.
That was it, man. I feel like the White Sox were occasionally on WGN.
Yep. You nailed it. You're absolutely 100% correct. I was a Braves fan and a Cubs fan for years because they were the only teams I could watch.
It makes
Even
sense.
The Brewers only made in Wisconsin only made TV once or twice a week.
Really? I feel like we could always see the Indians.
Well, for you younger people, I'm really old though, so it's a little different.
Sure.
All right, so I don't know if you guys have heard of this guy, but Tatis Jr. of the San Diego Padres, I've heard rumors around MLB that this guy's good. I mean, I don't know, maybe that's sarcasm. Perhaps we all know how good this guy is. He is quickly emerging as one of the game's top players. What I like about him today is the way the slate breaks down, I can actually afford to play him without spending all my money. Shortstop eligibility, you get one of the game's top players. He steals bases, he hits for power. He is averaging 2 more DK points than any other person on the slate today. Some of his counterparts in San Diego, some of his teammates, they're actually very, very affordable today. So if you want to do a mini San Diego stack, I can get on board with that as well. The kid going for the Dodgers, he's no scrub or anything like that, but it's not like he's going up against, I don't know, Clayton Kershaw in his prime or anything like that. I just look at today as a prime opportunity to get some Tatis in my life.
No one for the Dodgers is ever a scrub because they're too good. They don't have scrubs on their entire team. But you're right. We're not afraid to pick on Gonsolin at all. Tatis, if you had the greater than or equal sign, is greater than Gonsolin, no doubt about it. And we've talked about this guy a lot recently, so it just makes sense to bring him up. We love him. Yeah, I mean, he makes a ton of sense. On any slate, you can get him in there.
I'm not lying. Right now, that super popular meme of the guy looking at the other girl walking by instead of his girlfriend?
Yeah.
Right now, I'm thinking of you and Sam, and then Tatis walks by, and you're looking at him instead of your wife.
That's hilarious.
This kid's amazing. He is. I mean, you take Mike Trout out of it. This guy could be the face of baseball this year.
He's very fun to watch. Also,
he does it all, right?
He does it all. He's has fun in the field. He's just really fun to watch. I mean, I saw a tweet yesterday. So, Tatis was never supposed to be like this. Obviously, no one knows who's going to be like this guy. But he was never as hyped as Acuna. It's a younger prospect. So they got him in a deal basically straight up for James Shields.
Yeah, it seems like they may have gotten the good end of that one.
Yeah.
So either way, We haven't really brought him up on the show all year. I thought today was a good opportunity to get him in your lineup, so I thought we could run over him and just kind of get hyped about one of the emerging superstars in the game of baseball. They talk about 5-tool players. He's got 12 of them.
Yeah, he does.
All right, talk about your boy Nick Solak.
So kind of like Baltimore, I also expect Taijuan Walker to get a lot of love here because he's cheap. The Rangers are not good. They've been atrocious against right-handed pitching. I get it. And I don't even hate Taijuan Walker, and much in the same vein of Zach Eflin. However, I don't think Texas is like as bad as they've played so far. I think their bats are better than that. You know, the guys at the top of their lineup, Joey Gallo, Chu, Andrews, who actually is hitting lower now. And Andrews is hitting lower now because of Solak. So a guy who's seeing the ball really well, has nice speed upside. I was watching his at-bats last night, and the Texas announcers were talking that he's remained in the lineup and moved his way up because of his ability to stay in counts and put the ball in play with 2 counts. He had a solid RBI single up the middle, like on a 1-2 pitch last night. Double digits in 3 straight. I think this is an under the radar guy who is like in the middle of a hot streak and is only getting hotter. The home runs come in. I've been kind of good with that. Called the Bregman home run yesterday. Rendon the day before. Solak's going yard tonight.
Rock and roll. He's affordable. He's got dual eligibility. Plenty of things to like about the young man today. We'll break down the slate in its entirety on members only. Thanks for watching. Click that thumbs up button, and we'll see you guys in a little bit.
Thanks, guys.